Good morning.
Good morning.
We thought we'd sit down for our second month review today and go over our numbers, what has cost us this month. We've driven 5,100 miles so far on our trip. So we'll discuss fuel first. This last month we spent $376.73. We also bought a container of DEF for the motorhome and $18.38. We budgeted $800 and $4,000 for the trip.
Yeah, 800 a month.
800 a month, I'm sorry. 800 a month. So the money we spent the first 30 days was $1,118 and so
On fuel.
And so the total so far for the 2 months is $1,494.73. So with that, our Winnebago View has averaged 14.7 miles per gallon, which I think is pretty darn good for all the mountain climbing and up and down speeds that we've been going. So
yeah, and our budget is $800 a month. So this is 2 months in. So we are under budget by about $100. We're doing pretty good.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and the full trip is $4,000 budgeted for fuel. So we are under at 60 days. We are under budget.
Yeah. So that wraps it up, I guess, for the fuel.
Okay, and then camping fees. Everybody asks about camping fees. We did find some campgrounds this month that were free. We spent a few free nights. They were sponsored by the Fish and Wildlife and Game Service. And then also we utilized our America the Beautiful Senior Access Pass. And that's a federal pass that allows you free entrance into national parks, but it also allows you to utilize it in the national forest campgrounds and get half-price camping. So sometimes we were paying $9 or $11 a night for national forest camping. Because stay close,
Yeah.
so you're in the frame. Okay, so camping this month, our budget is $25 a day, which is $750 a month. That's our budget. We only spent $534 this month. Last month we spent $671. So we were still under budget last month too. And altogether we've spent $1,205 on camping for the 2 months so far, the 60 days. So food, and that's a really tough one because when we left off last month, we had only spent $224 for our first 30 days. But we had brought a lot of food from home. So this month now we did have to do some more stock up, but we're stocked up now for the month of July. We're pretty much set on groceries. So we did spend $609, but part of that was a shopping spree where we bought a new step ladder for inside of the rig to reach up to the Starlink and the skylight. We bought new filters for the water coming into the rig. We bought cotton jammies that I found somewhere on sale, extra jammies. So we bought some extra things. So really technically our groceries were $489. So we didn't go over too far. And like I said, we're stocked up now for July with a lot of food. So far, all of our food together is $713.76 for the first 60 days of the trip. And the budget was $400 a month, so it's $800. So we're underneath that too. We're under budget on all 3 categories so far.
Yeah. So that ended up being pretty good for food. And another thing we didn't even think of was budgeting for propane, which we should have done, but we overlooked it. And so this month we actually spent $118.93, and last month we spent $128 even. So the total for the last 2 months is $246.93, which, you know, isn't that bad, seeing that we've ran the heat almost every night since we've been up here, except actually last night.
Yeah, last night is the first night we have not run the furnace. Most of our nights have been down in the 40s or the 30s during the first month. So we have had to use our furnace. But also our propane handles our refrigerator, our water heater, our cooking stove and oven, and the propane heat.
And our generator.
And whenever we run the generator. And yeah, we forgot to mention that last month. So if we do run the generator, that runs off our propane as well.
Yeah. So actually, it's really not that terribly, I don't think that terribly bad.
No.
So.
Okay, laundry, which I do think is bad. I don't like going to laundromats. I really miss our washer dryer that we used to have in our big safari when we would travel. We also do have a portable Costway washer spinner that we take along in here on shorter trips that rides in the shower stall. But we didn't take it for this trip. We were going to be gone too many days to be messing with that in and out of the shower stall every time we want to take a shower. So we did not take it along. So this month we spent $28 in laundry. I really don't like going to public laundromats, so usually we've been trying to hit little laundromats at campgrounds. So we kind of let our laundry stack up and take it as, you know, as we can get it. We don't want to drive into a town and go to a city laundromat. Last month we spent $39 on laundry. So for the 2 months, we're up to $67 in laundry. So that's not my favorite category.
So here's another item that we didn't really budget in is our dump stations, or Sandy dumps as Canadians call it. Last month we didn't have any charges at all, and this month we had to pay $40 for dumping. Well, that's mostly because we did more boondocking, I guess.
Yeah, at campgrounds that really didn't have dump facilities.
Yeah, they didn't have the dump facilities, so we had to pay a little money to dump.
Twice we were at places where they charged you $10 to dump. And then one time they charged us $15 to dump and $5 for putting in fresh water.
Yeah.
So that was our cost.
Yeah, there's quite a few places that doesn't have good water too in areas we were, so we had to go to different places to find good water.
And a lot of the national forest campgrounds that we frequented this month have the old pitcher pump, you know, the green up and down lever, and we really don't want to trust the water from a well. So although the water coming into our rig we filter, and once it's inside the rig, we do run it through a LifeStraw pitcher for us for drinking, for cooking, for coffee, for the dog's water. We run it through that pitcher. So we're not buying bottled water, which is a nice expense that we're not dealing with.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else do we have here, Steve? We have this one. That was you.
Yeah. Well,
that was 100% you.
Well, we got a little carried away in the bakery shop, but why not?
You went in all by yourself.
Yeah, me, myself, and I.
Oh.
Went in, spent $38 on bakery, which, we had to find the most expensive bakery in Alaska, so that's what we did.
Well, it was in Girdwood, one of the most expensive towns, and he just couldn't control himself.
Yeah.
He said it's dangerous to send him into a bakery unsupervised.
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
and then we did buy a couple souvenirs. We did make it to McCarthy, and I bought the t-shirt. There were a couple other little things we bought here and there. We're starting to collect the souvenirs for the grandchildren and, items like that. So at home, we still are paying our regular bills, even though we're not at the house. Of course, we're paying our house insurance. We're paying the utility bills for electric and water. Although we're not using any water, you still pay a monthly fee. We still are paying for our Starlink, whether we're at home or on the road. The cost is the same. So we really didn't figure that into the vacation budget because it's already, part of our household expenses that we normally pay. The same as with our cell phones. Those are already taken care of normally, so we did not add them into our budget. The other thing is our health care. We're still paying, your supplement for Social Security and my health insurance, we are still paying whether we're home or on the road.
Yeah.
So those expenses really didn't change at all. But altogether, we're not doing too bad. If we look here, we're about, I didn't total them all up. Let's see, we're about 3,500 for the entire trip. This month alone is about 1,700. So we're not too bad.
No.
Our entire budget for the trip, we're just round numbers, and I think we're doing really well. We're under budget on every category.
Yeah, so not that we're trying to, stay under budget because of something coming up that we may want to take part in or go see or whatever. It's just, it's the way it's working out.
Yeah. So, actually, day 60 has become a sad day. It's our turnaround day. It's the day that we were in Anchorage and it was time to turn around and start heading back. We figured 2 months between going up, traveling around, now traveling around on the way back and heading home. So we are at the halfway point. So we're calling it our turnaround day.
Yep.
And so we left Anchorage on June 30th and started heading east. So it's a little sad, but yet it's exciting because the way we've planned our return trip, there's very little backtracking on the same roads. So we're seeing all different things. And I'll put a little map here. The route out is the dark blue, and the route back, proposed route back, is the lighter turquoise blue. And I'll insert the map right here. So we are planning on going home by buzzing up through the top of the World Highway.
Yeah, so right now we're in Tok, which is the last stretch, well, I shouldn't say the last stretch, but almost the last stretch of roads that we backtracked on.
Repeats,
yeah.
Yeah, and then after we do the top of the World Highway, when we get down near Watson Lake, we're turning off to take the Cassiar Highway the rest of the way down. Oh, those are our alarms at home. Somebody at our door. One moment. Okay, we're back now. Isn't technology wonderful? Somebody was at our door at home. Otherwise, I think that we are going to enjoy our trip home. We're going back down the Cassiar Highway, which is a little more mileage, a little further to the west. We're going to come down into Washington State and then work our way across the United States. Kind of finish up the trip that we tried to do last year.
Yeah, so we'll see what kind of interesting things we can find on that route.
Yeah, last year we tried going out US 2 all the way to the west coast. And we got as far as Montana.
Yeah, the western part of Montana, and ended up a lot of wildfire smoke, which was really pretty bad because you couldn't really see much, so there was no sense to continue.
Yeah, plus it was hard on my lungs.
Yes.
As for the Alaska fires, we've had quite a few people contact us. Thank you. They had contacted us being very worried about us with the current Alaska wildfire situation. And most of those fires were way north of Denali and Fairbanks. It wasn't anywhere that we were at. And now we're traveling right near Tok. There was a little fire, but it's under control. And we are watching the maps and using 511.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think we're doing pretty good. We're totally enjoying ourselves.
Yeah. So definitely today or last night when we pulled in here, it was the warmest we've had the whole trip. It was up to
77?
70 some degrees, and it was
Yes.
like we were get pretty warm because we're not used to that. Seeing that the temperature before that, I think was the highest was like 71 maybe.
Around that.
Like I had shorts
Yeah.
on one day.
Yeah, we've had one day.
One day of shorts. So
But we did get to the campground last night, and it happens to be one with electric hookups. So we plugged it in and turned on the air conditioning to cool the rig down because it was actually 80 degrees inside the rig with the sun shining on it. We were plugged in for what, 15 minutes, 20 minutes?
yeah.
And the power went out.
Yeah, the whole city went out of power, so I don't know what happened, but they blew a fuse or something, but they had it back on within another 15 minutes maybe.
Yeah, and so we were able to put our air conditioning back on. But we thought it was kind of ironic. It was probably the first or second place this whole month that we camped with an electric hookup. Actually, thinking back, I don't know, it might have been the first place this whole month that we camped with an electric hookup. And the power went out.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's where the generator comes into play. If you really need it, you can fire up the generator. But we have been utilizing our BLUETTI as a power source for backup power to kind of recharge our camper batteries. Plus, it runs our Starlink for us. So the Starlink is not draining on the camping batteries themselves.
Yeah, the house batteries.
Yeah, and it charges as we're driving, or it charges from solar if Steve sets out the solar panels, or it can charge when we run the generator too.
Yes.
So our BLUETTI power station is a little larger than some. It's what?
I think it's 2,048 watts.
Something like that.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
so.
And it's the BLUETTI 200 AC cool?
Yeah.
ACL?
Excuse me.
Something like that. But we're utilizing that as kind of our backup plug-in power source, and it works quite well. Especially if we've been running the furnace all night, the fan on the furnace does draw down the camping batteries. So by having the BLUETTI plugged into our camping batteries, or the camping batteries plugged into the BLUETTI, it keeps our furnace running without drawing down the camping batteries themselves.
Yeah, the lead acid batteries versus the
lithium iron phosphate. Yeah.
Battery,
So, and of course, we're doing things like running our laptops, charging our cell phones, recharging batteries for cameras, plus lights and the water pump. Even though the appliances are propane, they still need a level of electricity to run the control panels, like the refrigerator or the water heater.
Yeah.
So, everything draws a little bit, and we're really doing quite well.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So, well, good.
So that's our recap for the first 60 days of our trip, the halfway point. Like I said, it's turnaround time.
Yep.
And we're looking forward to turning the corner at Tok, Alaska, and heading north and going on the top of the world highway.
Yeah, we'll see how smooth that road is.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for watching.